All right. I'm going to give you all a few moments to come in because I just started the broadcast and there's a little bit of a delay between when I start and when it actually goes live. So at this point, there's no one here yet, but by the time you see this, you would be here because you would be seeing it. Okay. Now I see people coming in, and we're going to be getting the conversation started as soon as the text goes out to the text notification squad. Um, because the text notification squad are a select group of people who get a text notification whenever I go live. When we do a show, the text notification comes in anywhere between 10 to 15 minutes before the broadcast. So I do a 15-minute countdown and you get the link so you're able to show up during the countdown, whether you're, driving around or working or you got to take your lunch break or whatever. So the countdown happens and then you all come in and then the show goes live. There was a person who complained about the text notification um, coming in during these types of shows when I just go live. And part of the reason that that happens is because there are several different systems that are connected in order for a text to go out, right? So there's the YouTube system, there's the mailing list, and then there's your phone number and the ability to send the text. So there's four different systems all connected. And so it takes like anywhere between, and then there's also human people who monitor and they hold back some of the text sometime to kind of check and make sure what it is. And then so that kind of stops. So like now we've been on for 1 minute, 55 seconds and the text hasn't gone out yet. And so when it does go out, I'll get a notification and then we will go from there. Today's conversation is about fatigue. I am personally fatigued. I can only imagine that some of you out there are fatigued. All right, the text just came through. All right, so welcome in Text Notification Squad. If you would like to join the Text Notification Squad, it is only $1.99 a month or $22 for the year. Um, and if you're outside of the country, it is $4.99 a month or I believe $50 for the year. I believe that those are what the numbers are. And it's just basically a way for the amount of money that you pay is really just for the cost of the texting service because it costs money to send text. And so, all right, since you all are here, come on in. I see London is in the house. Okay, Jessica gets the YouTube notification, then she'll get the text. And the text is really just a way for you to, the text is really just a way for you to have the link so that even if you're not, so that for sure, so that if these platforms ever do anything funny or fugazi, I talk about controversial stuff and sometimes we punch up at some big names. So you always get the link. If anything happens to my channel, I can send you a message and you can meet us offline. Speaking of meet me offline, we do broadcast behind the scenes. So when that person was complaining, about her $20 for the year, I just went ahead and I paid for her 6 months and refunded her and took her off the list because the value that I provide behind the scenes is so much greater than $20. Like we build community. Typically, if I'm feeling this sort of way and I want to reach out to people, we'll just have a broadcast behind the scenes and we'll create a safe space for one another to open up and talk about what's going on in our lives, etc. And what's happening in my life right now is I'm fatigued. There was this show I used to watch. I believe it was the Walking Dead. I believe it was The Walking Dead. It could have been something else because I've flushed it from my mind because it would be like there was really very little time of peace. It was like in The Walking Dead, we were up to 7 seasons and still there was just no rest. There was no time where they could just start building out, where you could see the farm and all of this stuff. It was just one thing after another. Is the zombies are busting down the fence. Oh no, humans are coming. Oh my goodness, they crawled up through the sewer. Oh, my son got bit. Oh, the baby's crying and they're attracting the zombies from the forest. Oh, and it was like there was never a time for them to really just like kind of build community for you to get to know the characters and all of that. And this is the way that I'm feeling with life. Like, we spend so much time desperate to grow up. And then we grow up and it's just like one fire after another, after another, after another. It's like, this seems to be the setup of life, right? Somebody said I quit season 4. Somebody said I'm not fatigued, I'm burnt the F out. Listen, I feel you. I'm feeling some burnout. I've been feeling some burnout lately where I just have to kind of like take a day or so and just rest and relax. But this seems to be the premise, the setup of life, right? You're a child and people telling you what to do. You can't wait until you grow up and get some autonomy because other people are making decisions for you, what to wear, where to go, what time to go to sleep. And it seems like the adults are having all the fun. People keep telling you be in a child's place, wait till you get older. You'll understand when you're older. I'll tell you when you're older. When you're older, you could do XYZ. That seems to be how it starts out. Then you get a little bit older and you get a little bit of autonomy, but then they tell you, you're not old enough yet, right? Still, I remember my father told me, rest, little birdie, rest a little longer, rest, little birdie, until your wings are stronger. This is what he told me when I came to my parents and told them I wanted to date. And I was probably anywhere from 13 to 16 years old. Because at 13, I thought I was ready to date. I told you all the story of how I got so many ears pierced, right? But nonetheless, right? You get a little bit older, you start going through your transition into being a young woman or a young man, and you start feeling yourself, the hormones start, flourishing, and people then start really putting a tight grip on you to make sure that you don't bust out or fly out the nest too soon. So there's all of these rules and regulations imposed on you. You think you're old enough, they don't think you're old enough, and there's this fight, 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 right? Then you get a little bit older, you get more autonomy, you go off to college, right? Then you're in college and you realize I remember when I realized, was it nobody gonna wake my black ass up if I slept through? I remember I had an 8:30 a.m. class on Tuesdays and Thursdays. You know how they have the schedule Monday, Wednesday, Friday, then you have the Tuesday and Thursday. I had an 8:30 a.m. in the class in the morning, Tuesday and Thursday class. And I remember sleeping through that class and waking up angry, like, why didn't anybody wake me up? And then I looked around, other people had their own classes, and I realized nobody really gave an F. If I missed my class, that was my ass. So I was paying for the courses. Like, this was my money. It was my time. It was my 4 years. And then that's when I started getting the idea that, oh, this is more serious than I thought, because I was waking up, my clothes was wrinkled, was there nobody up there ironing them for me? And I was like, what is this here, right? I was immersed in a system with a bunch of people with different cultures and customs, and everybody was on their own stuff, and some girls were doing things, other girls weren't. And we had RAs that attempted to kind of look over us, but some of the RAs had upperclassmen friends themselves, and they was just trying to get they work study check and all this other stuff. And then they had their cliques, and if you weren't on the right side of the RA, then you had some problems there in the dorm and stuff, right? Then you get out of that phase, and now you out there in the world, you outside of school, you meeting people in the world, and you realize that this world is a cold mother effing place. That there's people who not only don't care about you, but have contempt for you. And like when you go out there into the dating world and you start navigating even amongst people of your own gender, and it starts getting real peculiar, You're young, but you don't know what the F is going on in this life. You're young and you're dumb. You don't have the experience, right? But when you start getting a little bit of experience, you look back and you're like, Mom, Dad, I mean, if you're lucky, because some of us, our parents had us in their 20s. Other of us, that our parents had us in their 30s and 40s, which means if your parent had you when they were 40, by the time you're 20, your parent is 60. And then you're dealing with a different facet of life than at that point. Because I'm making this video because I'm perplexed and confused about whether or not trolls are not living in the rest of the world that the rest of us are living in. Because by the time you become 35, if your parents had you anytime after 30, you're dealing with a parent who may have health issues. You may have to start going to doctors. By the time you become 40, some of our parents are dying and disabled. By the time you become 50, far too many of our parents are gone. You in this world alone. By the time you become 60, you've already now, well, you're going through changes in your life, your body, your joints, your hair, your skin, you're changing. And there's nobody there to guide you through the change. And so it's like, when is the time that we ever get to rest? When is the time that we get to just kind of sit back and relish in the joys of life? It's like you have to carve out your own joy, right? So nonetheless, so you get out there in the world, you start dating, and you realize this world can be a cold mother effing place. And then you start trying to govern yourself through this world. If you're lucky, you come across channels like mine that are sincerely, really, truly trying to help you foster self-love. If you're not lucky, you come across some other channels where the people may be more insidious, may be scamming, perpetrating a fraud, living a life in front of the camera that's different than the one that's behind the camera. And then you start navigating through and start creating changes in your life based on the guidance that you're receiving from family, from the internet, from social media, from the world, from what's happening in the sphere, right? 40. Now listen, some women start going through menopause in their 30s, 40s. By the time you're 50s, it's over, right? So now you get into your 40s. If your parents had you at 40, your parents are 80, which means you're already going to doctor's appointments. You're the one now scheduling doctor's appointments, making sure that they are up, making sure that they're okay. And then now you're going through, you have your children and you realize what your parents had to deal with your ass. Listen, you get the child that your spirit, I don't want to say the child you deserve, because listen, I ain't going to say that, but you get the right child for you. And now you're dealing with all of this stuff in this life with a child who is, some of the tricks because your ass was doing the tricks back in your days, right? All the sneaking and lying and putting different names in your phone and this, that, and trying to sneak out or break out or brook out or however you want to put it, right? And then now you have to navigate through all of that. Do I kill this child? Oh my, figuratively. Do I kill this child? Or do I kill? What do I do? Because this stuff ain't connecting, right? Then finally, your children start to get some autonomy. The lessons that you've put in hopefully start taking effect. And now your children are out there and you're the one now. You're the parent. You're the one who's aging. And now your children are now entering into their prime and you don't really know how to really help them navigate in this world and this age of social media, etc. Right? Oh, somebody who says They were the worst teenager. Just wait, your time is coming, because the universe knows exactly what you need to humble you, and you will be humbled. If dating doesn't humble you, if you yourself doesn't humble you, your children will humble you. And if your children don't humble you, your parents aging will humble you. Something in this life will humble you. You will be humbled, right? So, and then raising children and being a caretaker, like someone just mentioned, then you and the young people have switched places. You have some wisdom, you've lived through life, and you've learned, you've loved, you've lost, and now here you're trying to navigate and leave your mark on the world. Then from there, now you're looking to give back the lessons, to give back, and to look. My mother died when I was 19. Otherwise, I wouldn't be Tanya TKO. Like some people are like, "Oh, I'm sorry your mother died," but you wouldn't know me if she hadn't. Because I began giving back from the things that I learned very young, because by the time I was 20, my mother was dead, right? So nonetheless, so then now you're 50, you're trying to give back into this world, and you're navigating through your own changes, your loss of muscle mass, your plummet in testosterone, the sagging of your skin, the wrinkles creeping up, the fat deposits in places that you would have just skipped lunch or took a diuretic or ran around the block and the fat deposits would have been gone. And then now you have to navigate through a life where your digestional system is different, your ability to absorb nutrients is different, your mind is different, your knees and your joints and all of this stuff is different, right? Then you become 60 and your children now maybe have children, your grandparent, and you are now in the place that your parents were, where you have to make the decision about, listen, are you going to go down without a fight? Are you going to go out swinging? Are you going to be healthy? What is your life in your 60s going to look like? And then you get to your 70s and you realize that you have more years behind you than you have in front of you. And you have to start dealing with the death of siblings. Probably some people were dealing with that from the 60s, death of siblings. Parents are long gone. Now you're the one who may be in need. Um, Body has changed. You're in this realm. You got these things going on mentally. Death of a spouse. Death of many of your friends. Can you imagine? All of your girls that you all used to have your hot girl summers with and being the city girl with, and now some of your girls are dead. Can you imagine that? Growing and hearing another one is gone. And remembering when you all used to tear up the town back in the days with your Tootsie Roll and dropping it like it's hot and scrubbing the ground and doodle browning and all of that in your heyday. And now some of your girls and some of your boys is dead, and you're like, damn, life is short. Life is short. And me, I sit here on the internet and I look at these people who are trolling and creating toxic content and just and taking the piss, and I wonder, God, ain't you living the same life that the rest of us are living? God damn. God damn. Aren't the canals of life going up and down for the rest of us? Isn't it? But yet you sit here pretending like you got time for this bullshit. Like you got time. Like me personally, I don't know what I'm going to do when one of my siblings passes away, or one of my girls when she is no longer breathing on this earth. What am I going to do? What is this life really like when you have, I mean, I just, I have grown to a point in my life where I'm starting to get a clearer understanding for the principles of this life and the circular motion and the circularity of our space in this cycle of life and the beauty of new babies coming in and the pain of the older going out. And I am just like, I'm fatigued today. I'm fatigued of this circle, of this roller coaster, of this up and down, and this, just like in The Walking Dead, the moment that you start relaxing, oh no, the fence is cracking, oh no. And then it's like, you know what? I'm sorry, but I don't know why, but the thought of a sibling dying just, it crushes me on the inside because I'm like, regardless of the relationship that you have with your sibling, this is a person who occupied space in your childhood, in your home, who you grew with, who you grew in the same household with, who share, the parental DNA with, and you have known this person your whole life or most of it, depending on where you were born in the hierarchy. And then one day, you're just going to be in this world without the person who shared your family home with you and grew up with you and who you learned about life with. And I don't know. I want to see some of your comments. And Eartha only has one sibling. And then Destiny is the oldest. But you know what? The oldest goes out first, maybe, so that you don't have to be here as they all fall off one by one. Lulu doesn't want to think about it. Listen, you see? So you all know what I'm talking about. You all know what I'm talking about, especially people who have lost both their parents. Like, what is this world like without both of your parents, without any, that little thing that's shaped like that on the map that shows you where you are or where home is? What is this space like? What is this world like when you don't have that little marker on the map for where home is? And now you have to step up into the maternal, the mantle, the maternal mantle, and now be big mama when you was just out there dropping it like it's hot just 20, 30 years before. You know what I'm saying? Now you have to be like, well, let me try to guide these younger ones. Let me have Thanksgiving at my house, right? Oh, somebody lost their big brother only 2 years older than them. Can you ever have a sense of self if you never had something? I don't know what that means. Can you type that out again? I don't know if you mean if you've never had a sense of self, how can you lose it? And then Gua is saying, what about when your whole family is toxic? I mean, you know what? Even if they're toxic, that toxicity at some point was normalcy. And when they die, let me tell you something. We talked about this in the broadcast off platform, right? When you have all of these feelings on the inside about a toxic family member, when they die, where does that feeling go? Where is it released to? What happens to all that stuff, all those words left unsaid? This person is in a casket now, body stiff from rigor mortis, eyes glued shut by the mortician, and you have all of these feelings. Where does that go? All this unresolved stuff that at the end of the day, holding on to it really meant what? Where does all of it go? All that stuff that you have pent up, all that anger, like when you see this person, all the stuff that you're like, I can't wait for this. I can't wait to get away from this. I can't be around these people. All of that stuff. When they're no longer on this earth, what happens to all of those feelings that you just been holding on to? What happens to it? It has nowhere to go because the person can never receive it. And you're holding on to it for a person who is gone now. For a life that was summed up in what? Because when they go, they leave everything here on this earth. They take nothing with them but themselves and all of the places that the memories that you had with this person where you cussed them out and they said this to you and they're gone. They're gone. They're gone. And you're left here on this earth navigating through life with some very strong emotions that you had built up inside of you. Lulu, big hugs to you. I'm sorry that you've gone through that and that you're going through that. And somebody's saying sometimes you try to work it out, but they're so toxic you just can't. Lisa says she's tired, but she feels like there's a bigger purpose. And you know what? And I honestly, at this point, I don't think that there is any other purpose besides the experience of life itself. So you better, by God, you better grab on to some little piece of happiness in this life and just expound out on that feeling. Just feel it and expound out on it. All right, I'm going to open up the phone lines now. And for those of you who listen, while you still can, while the text notification squad is $1.99 still, please sign up. If you have any issues signing up, the system needed to be updated. I updated the system. There were some people who couldn't sign up over the past week or so. I didn't know how long the problem existed, but it's fixed now. If you have any issue, um, oh, try now. I wanted to say one last thing. One last thing. The thing that just had me feeling kind of just fatigued today is yesterday. I went to ship a young lady's package, and I printed up the label, right? This was the label I printed up, but the label was empty, so I had to go into my phone to see, right? Oh, somebody's calling. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna answer in a moment, but give me one moment. I had to go into my phone, and when I went into my phone, I saw that she didn't have an order. So I was like, what the hell is going on? Come to find out, Klarna canceled 14 orders, right? There was some sort of glitch in the damn system. Klarna canceled the orders and didn't collect payment on them, refunded some people, and just didn't they just didn't continue forward with the order for 14 people. And you know, each one of my products is expensive. One of the items that I sent out, one of the items that I sent out, well, some of the items I sent out is $500. That's the makeup pack, and there were thousands of dollars worth of product that I sent out. Right, thousands of dollars worth of product that I sent out. And I was distressed last night. I was feeling the feelings of stress and strain from it, from just this unnecessary issue, because now I'm like, I got to chase behind people for money, this, that, and the other. And I was feeling the strain of that. And I just was like, I just had to go to bed. I went to bed at 8:30 yesterday. I just was like, you know what? Because I started calling some people to recover the monies. I was sending people text messages. I sent out 6 messages, right? And I will say this, right? 4 out of 6 people were eager, happy, and glad to correct the issue with me right there on the phone. They had the product in their hands. They had it in their homes. There was no way that the product could be rerouted or no, it was already in their homes. And 4 out of 6 people remitted payment with me right there on the phone. One person ignored my messages, and one person had me on the phone. I don't know if she was playing games or whatnot. I don't know, but I know that she kept me on hold for about 20 minutes. She did a partial payment. Well, it took quite some time for the partial payment. Then she kept me on hold for 20 minutes and then came back and was like, oh, there's some stuff going on. I can't talk. I can't talk. Right. And I was like, oh, okay. All right. So then I sent her an invoice. She didn't pay the invoice last night. She didn't pay it this morning. And then I sent a message to Klarna last night, right? I sent a message to Klarna last night, and when I sent the message to them, I was like, listen, I've shipped out product and the orders have been canceled. What can we do about this, right? I hadn't heard from them last night. They were already closed. And after waiting on hold with that woman for the 20 minutes with her playing those games and stuff like that, or whatever it is. Oh, B. Stephanie is saying, no wonder you do this only once a year. Let me tell you something. I was thinking the same thing. I don't enjoy doing these yearly sales. I don't enjoy it because it's a lot. It's a lot. But I'll tell you one thing, right? Those 4 out of 6 people, today I was able to hear people's stories, how much the vitamin E and having it available meant to them for healing their scars, I'll show you all my pictures, right? I'll show you all my pictures real quick. Because I sent them to myself so I can keep them. All right. So you all remember when I showed you my hand when it looked like that, when I had my scar, right? This was 1 week later, and then another week after that. And by the time we got to this past week right here, as you see, remember I told you all to make me show you my hand? You see the scar is gone. Remember we talked about that in a video? You see the scar is gone. So she told me her story about the scars and the stuff that she had gone through. I was almost moved to tears just because when her order canceled, she was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Right? She was like, how do I get rid of these scars? And it really meant a lot to her. And I got to hear another woman's story where she was going through some stuff at work and she spent some time venting with me on the phone. And I just got a chance to connect with people whom I wouldn't have connected with had I not had to call them. Right? And so that was the blessing part of it. But let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. This morning, Klarna came swooping in and they corrected their issue. So all of those people who paid, the 4 people who paid, I was able to avert and then take care of not having to have them recharged. But that woman who was playing games on the phone, oh yes, Klarna swooped in and got that payment from her so that I didn't have to credit her on the line. And so I didn't have to take no trips around the US just on principle alone. Klarna came in and got that. Got that. The person who didn't call me back, Klarna came in. Got that. They got that. But my thing is, why did I even have to go through all of this, the emotional issues, or I don't know if this is, because see, the thing about it is, it's not the money. It's not the money because the stuff is gone. It's the principle of it, especially with the makeup pack, because the makeup pack cost me dearly. And most of the items in the pack are a gift from me. So for me to already be gifting so much, for a person to then attempt to steal was just like, mm, mm, mm. Sandra said that woman was on the phone with Klarna for 4 hours. Who? I didn't see what happened. Yeah, it's the principle of it. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, don't be thinking you come into our makeup party and the community that we're building. And look, I understand if you have some financial issues, and then also the fact that I went out of my way to get Klarna on the website so that people could be able to do the payments. And because of that, taking advantage of that, I just, mm, no, no, mm-mm. And there are people who are like, I use Klarna all the time, never had a problem. Listen, it only happened out of 14 orders, out of all of the orders that I had. And who knows? Listen, and there are people on, if you're the customer, you're not going to see all of the issues that happen behind the scenes, from a merchant. Me as the merchant, I'm seeing what's going on behind the scenes, the issues that are happening, etc. So, a Bronx Collection Company, you don't want me to start ringing your doorbell. Because the one thing that you do have is when you ship a person a product and they say they received it, you know that the address is good. You know what I mean? Some people have integrity. I said 4 out of 6. 4 out of 6. That's 2/3. That's not bad. And then the third person, she didn't get back in touch, but we don't know whether or not she got the message or whatnot. So 4 out of 5 people whom I've spoke to were all up and up. That's a pretty good ratio to me because nobody had to pay anything before they knew that Klarna was going to come and get that money anyway. You know what I'm saying? Nobody had to pay. But when they found out what happened, 4 out of 5 people did. One, tried to, but she paid a small amount and then she started saying, oh, she kept me on hold and she started saying she had all these issues and this, that, and the other, blah, 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 blah. I don't know. Maybe she really was having some stuff going on, but handle your business. You know what I mean? Handle your business. Handle your business. It's like, if you handle your business, if you know, come on, come on. Oh, I can read the names of the people that it canceled for. I can read the names, but don't worry because, like I said, they came through. Um, where did my paper go? Oh, it dropped here. Give me 1 second. The people who it canceled for: Tracy W, Venetia G, Chrysanthemum H, Crystal T, Faye J, Precious J, Latasha B, Kalia H, Lisa B, Sandra H. Those are the people that it canceled for. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There were a few others. There was a person, Sherry, and some others, and one person had 2 orders, so it was 14 orders. But there was another. There was some. You know what? As a matter of fact, I should have another window open because it was an entire. It was a boondoggle. It was a boondoggle, but that's let me see if I could find hold on. I think I closed the window. I think I closed the window because I was just like, I think I closed the window, but it was a bunch of people. So, but listen, 4 out of 5 people handled their business. So 4 out of 5 people handled their business. So nonetheless, phone lines are open. I'm going to talk. We're somebody says this is why black business are hard to build because of cheating and dishonesty. No. Are you all what story are you all hearing? What story are you all hearing? because the story that I'm telling is about 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5 people handled their business, which means that if I had continued, so probably 3 out of the 14 or 2.5 out of the 14 would have the vitamin E oil is not still available. It is sold out, but I'm going to do things differently because I can't go through this stress every year. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a company that can ship the vitamin E's for me. I'm going to, because like all of this stress and all of that, I don't need all of this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a company who can ship them for me. The earrings are, there's a few, hold on, let me grab this call. The earrings, there's a few earrings left. You're in the ear live with Tanya. What is your name?
Of the 14 would
Selena.
have
Hi, you're on the air live, so talk to me through the phone. What is your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Selena Thomas, and I'm calling from Chicago.
Hey, Selena, welcome in. So talk to us. Your name sounds familiar.
Hey, how you doing?
So talk to us, Selena from Chicago.
Yes, I'm just calling in and to discuss what you was referring to as to dealing with toxic people
Yeah, okay.
and how we should handle that situation, and that
Mm-hmm.
we may deal with the guilt and when they die. I kind of disagree with that
I didn't
to
say
a
anything
certain point.
about guilt. I didn't say anything about guilt, but go ahead.
Okay, sorry. So, I kind of look at it a little bit different because sometimes when you deal with toxic people long term, it affects you mentally. Whereas it's so draining to the point whereas it can lead to you maybe doing some harm to them or yourself. So at some point, you got to choose to take care of yourself.
I don't know whether or not you heard me say that you should deal with toxic people. Did you hear me say that? Or did you interpret anything
No.
that I said as that? Or
Yes, I kind of
okay?
did. I thought you were saying that. Um, what are you going to do with your feelings if they die?
Yeah, but that's not dealing with them. And if there's anybody who, I'm glad that you called in. If there's anybody who interpreted me as saying that you should deal with toxic people, no, 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 not at all in the least. What I'm saying is deal with your feelings on the inside. All of
Oh
that
yeah,
animus and
I agree with
vitriol
that.
that you have when they die, you still have those feelings inside of you for a person who is in a casket, hard as 3 day old pretzel sticks. You have to deal with the feelings on the inside of you. I'm not telling anybody to come into contact or stay in contact with toxic people, but you need to resolve those feelings because a person who wrote in the comments wrote, about their toxic family members, and they're writing this publicly because apparently there's some stuff that's not healed.
That's not resolved. Okay, yes,
Exactly.
I
So if
100%
you're
agree with that.
exactly,
Yeah,
so that's all I'm
I do.
saying. All I'm saying is resolve that on the inside because when they're gone, they're still gone and they're gone and you still have those feelings. That's all I'm saying. I don't know. I don't know how many other people heard it the way you did, but no, when the
Yes,
person is
I was
gone, you can
using.
feel a relief in your life, yes, but still you still have unresolved things.
Okay, so yeah, that's all. That's all I call in for.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm happy that you were able to that your life was alleviated of a person who caused you a tremendous amount of turmoil. And what did you do to release the feelings that you had towards this person after they died if you were still holding on to those feelings?
It was various people in my family. I'm the middle child of 9,
Mhm.
so usually middle kids tend to bear a lot of suppressing their feelings because they don't get as much attention as the oldest ones do, as
Mhm.
well as the younger ones.
Yes. So what
So
did you do
I
to
did
get
with
to relieve those, alleviate the feelings?
yes, I had to disassociate myself and with them and go see a therapist.
Okay, okay. So When the person died, you still had feelings that were unresolved.
No, I don't have any. I already came to terms with the fact
Oh,
that
okay. So before they
never
died, you
going to be
resolved the
resolved.
feelings.
Yes,
Okay, okay,
this
got you.
because yes, I already have started the healing process before, like years ago. This is not anything recent, so I
Got
had
you.
to. But
Got you.
I had to heal
Yeah.
myself. But I resolved too that if they need me, like if it's something that like an emergency, I could be
Mhm.
there. But as far as associating with them
Yeah.
outside of what is necessary, I cannot do that anymore.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you so much for calling in and shedding that light on there and having me clear that up in case there was anybody else who was confused. So thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Right. Thank you so much.
All right, bye-bye. All right. So I don't know who heard that in that way, but no, that is not what I meant at all. But you all see what time it is, right? You see what time it is? Hey, 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 all right. Oh my goodness. We just received the super apple. And the apple has come in from Miss Amore. And she says, keep up the exceptional work. I am Miss Jones on YT. Hey, thank you. We appreciate that. I appreciate the love right there. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You know, ah, I appreciate it. I appreciate people who, go above and beyond to let me know that the message resonates with them. And, whether it's an email that you send letting me know how the content has affected your life, or Super Apple if you're able, or whatever the case may be, I am I'm so grateful. So thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So thank you. I appreciate the love, Miss Jones. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Especially since today was such a hard day. It's like on the one hand, and I'll say this real quick. I'll say this real quick because I think it's important, right? When these situations of strain come into our lives, adversity, trials, etc., you get to know more about who it is that you are, because it's not until the test comes that you really know who it is that you are. Like last night when I was having those, when Klarna was closed and the orders were shipped and all this, that, and the other, and I went through the process of calling people, etc., and getting them on the phones. They had a choice, and that choice is one of the choices that determines who we are, right? Who are you? What are you made of? What happens when you receive something that you didn't pay for, and the person who you have it from is contacting you? What do you do? How do you respond? You don't have to do one thing or the other, but what do you do? And so I think that that's really important. So I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you all so much. I'm going to open back up the phone lines again and take a few more phone calls. All right. So thank you all so much for being here. You all make the broadcast. And I love when we can have small broadcasts like this. Broadcasts like these are not good for the channel because YouTube, the algorithm is not human. So when we have small broadcasts that are not viral topics, etc., YouTube constricts the views of the channel because it's weird maintenance stuff behind the scenes. But broadcasts like this are not good for the growth of the channel, but they're good for the growth of us as human beings. You know what I'm saying? So I don't regret I love doing videos like this because these are the meaningful videos. You're on the air live with Tanya. What's your name?
Hi, Tanya. I'm calling to uh, give a little context to what the subject is about as far as
Okay.
being lost and trying to find your way when, you lose your parent, your siblings. Um, I've had that experience because I've lived most of my life being a caretaker to my mother. So
Oh.
my identity was like basically entwined in hers.
Mhm.
Um, and she passed away when I was 43, and that was in
Mm.
2013.
Mm.
And a year after that, my only sister
Oh.
passed away from a pulmonary embolism. So
Oh
it was almost like
no.
my whole family,
Yeah.
everything was wiped out. My identity was, who am I? Then that 2018, I got married, and I
Oh.
figured, I said, well, let me create my own family.
Mhm.
And I'm part of the LGBT community, so I was
Mm.
kind of like outside of my family anyway because they're this holy Christian, Pentecostal family. So after I got a divorce from that particular woman, everything is like now I understand what you're saying because every day I get up, and as a black woman, I feel unprotected. I'm getting like I have to fight. I have to fight. I get 1 minute of like pleasure and comfort. I'm like, okay,
Mm.
okay, and then next thing you know, bam. And when I show up and I speak authoritatively, and I'm trying to like defend myself because the men in my family are either
Mm.
married to some other type of woman, and
Mhm.
they protect them in all of this. I don't feel protected, and I'm
Mm.
automatically a threat.
Got you.
That's how, and it's like it's really sad, and about the people, the toxic people, like
Mm. Mhm.
dying off and stuff like that, into the family to address that.
Mhm.
I had to, only to save myself. I had to like really say I can't even grieve for them because if I do, people can kill you without killing you. You're like really
Mm.
fit. They can kill you in other ways, and I don't even
Mhm.
have it for anybody else, and it's a shame. And we,
Yeah.
it's like you don't know. You feel like you're in another world.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
still now. I feel like a kid because all my childhood, I don't even. I'm trying to figure out adulthood right now because all the things like you said, my mother had me when she was 36.
Mm. So
So
you
so
understood
am
what I
I,
was saying. So you understood.
yes, I understand. So now I'm waking up like, okay, who am I? Okay, what am I supposed to do?
Mm.
What is my mark in this world? And I better
Mm.
hurry up because now I'm 52.
Okay.
I don't have any
Okay.
children. My
Yes.
sister, yeah. So it's like I'm already buried my mother. So it's kind of hard, and a lot of times people, and I'm a sepsis survivor also. So when I was
A
33 years
what?
old, on my deathbed after surgery, my mother was there and my family was there. So I'm always thinking, what if I get into that situation again?
Oh.
That's scary, and people don't
Yeah.
realize um, your walk and why you are the way you are, and they don't realize that, but they're quick to get offended and they don't ask. I was always the one grabbing the cape since I was little. Because my mother was always, she was sick. I grew up with a mother that had diabetes. Like you said, she was older, so I was the caretaker. So I didn't have
Mm.
any like kind of life for myself. I was
Mm.
always healing and doing everything for everyone else, and that's what I learned, and I've been doing it since recently. I've been trying to stop that. And all the no's, a lot of people have dispersed that in my life, and I've learned
Mm.
to accept it. It was hard though, and it's still a battle, but
Mm.
I'm doing it. But I can relate to what you're saying, definitely.
Mm. Well, you know what? Thank you so much for calling in and sharing that. That's so important. Wow,
Definitely.
so deep. When I was giving the intro, I tried to include as many different situations as possible. But yeah, that's a reality. That's a
Yeah, that's what
reality.
I understood perfectly what you were saying. It's like you get up and you try to do the best you can, and then you think everything's great, and then you look around in the world and you're saying, gee whiz, COVID has really like gotten everybody, should be getting everyone's attention, and you're seeing people die off, and whether you like them or not, it does impact you because family
Yeah.
comes from the word familiar, And that's what you were saying.
Yeah.
Even if it's toxic, it's still familiar. You're going to miss all of that. It's
Yeah.
new to you. And if all of this stuff doesn't impact and change people and wake their behinds up and say, we have to start doing something different.
Yeah.
We have to start doing and putting our arms around each other. And if this death
Yeah.
and all this stuff doesn't change anybody, nothing will. If people are still acting up in
Yeah.
the middle of this, stealing, mistreating people, and all kinds of other stuff, our men over there, married. Like I have a whole family of black men, direct descendants and ancestors of Smith family from the that we enslaved here. They married other women of other races, and they protect them. And I get in constant battles with them. They haven't protected me in any of this, and I have an issue
Wow.
with that. Whether I'm LGBT or not, I'm like, I'm still a black woman, and I'm still in this family. And you're talking about you honoring your ancestors. You know, it's I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but I think, like you said, we have to take our small slice of peace whenever we can, 1 minute at a time. And I can't go there with it like Lot's wife. I can't look back. And if people cut me off or whatever they have to do, I have to reserve my energy because now I'm the only one here. And if I get on my deathbed again, it's going to be between me and the Most High.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome. And like I said, I understood everything you said, and you keep doing what you're doing. I love your show. I love everything about you is perfect, and you keep going, and you tell the truth, and you are nothing out of your mouth has been disingenuine. Nothing ever. I've been watching you. You're straightforward, and keep going, and I support you, and I love you as a sister.
Oh, thank you so much. Tell everybody your name and where you're calling in from again.
My name is Denise. I'm calling in from New Jersey. Hello.
Oh, I don't think I asked you that in the beginning. Well, welcome in, Denise from New Jersey. We appreciate the
Yes.
love and the support and telling us your story.
You're
Do you want to
welcome.
tell
You're
people who you
welcome.
are in the chat and maybe make a friend or two?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm always in your chat. I'm under Denise Renee Collins. I'm always in here.
Are you on Facebook or YouTube?
Facebook.
Okay, so she's Denise Collins on Facebook. So we'll see you in the comments, Denise. Thank you so much. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. All right. Bye bye.
All right. Yeah, these calls are so deep. I'm so glad. You know, it's so interesting. I was gonna say it's so strange, but it's not strange. It's interesting hearing a person talking about how they love my content so much, especially when I get comments every single day about how people hate my content and they feel I'm destroying the community and I'm a detriment and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, well, what are you watching? Somebody saying I gotta put myself first, Lucius. I gotta put myself first. Yeah, I understand, Cookie. You're on the air live with Tanya. What's your name and where you calling from?
This is Mr. Moore.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. The clapping was too loud. Simmer down, simmer down. Tell us your name again?
This is Miss Moore from YouTube.
Oh, Miss Amore. You just sent the apple?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, well, welcome in. You got through. Welcome to the line, Miss Amore. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank
Thank you so
you.
much, ma'am.
So what
I
is
had
your
asked a,
go ahead.
I had asked a question earlier. Because you asked me to rephrase it. My question was, well, how do you, if you never had like a parental figure and or a father, how does one miss something that they never had? Because I have pondered around this question about if my biological father should ever die, would I ever feel any type of way? And because of the life that I've lived before, um, no, I wouldn't. I would feel no type of way. I don't hate him. I don't wish him ill will. But if he should die, I have no type of feeling for him because he was not there. He showed me whom he was before, who he is. And as they said, if someone shows you who they are, believe them. So therefore,
Yeah.
because in death, now I'm supposed to, have this, I guess, sense of loss?
Well, you know what? I'll say this, right? I can tell from the way that you sound that you have a feeling about this situation. and it's not a neutral feeling. I'm hearing something which shows that you do have something in there that is, I don't know whether it's a twinge of anger, um, uh, grief. I don't know what it is. Only you know because you know yourself.
It's more so annoyance of people
Okay.
trying to throw that down my throat that I have to um
Okay. So
do
I
this.
will I
I
will
have
say I
to
will
have a
say this.
relationship.
I will say this. One, no, you don't have to have a relationship with anyone. Two, um we don't know how we'll feel until it happens. When you talk about your paternal father dying, you have a right to feel however it is that you choose to feel. Whether you feel a sense of mourning, I'm in the Bronx and there was a building that burned down. And in that building, there were 19 people who died, some of which were children.
Hmm.
And when that happened, I cried. And I felt a sense of mourning for the people in the building, the children whose lives were cut short, etc. And I didn't know those people. They never did anything for me. They never did anything to me. I have no feeling, I have no experience with them. I may have known some people because, I'm in the Bronx. Maybe I've seen a person before and I know people who know people in the building. But me personally, I have not heard of anybody coming and saying that, the person anyone in the building was someone I've known. So I will challenge you that you don't necessarily have to have a good relationship with a person to feel a feeling of something when they die. When your paternal father dies, right, there will never be the chance that the relationship will resolve. It's
And I'm okay with
over.
that. I've made
Right.
peace with that.
Exactly. Exactly. However, if you did have a feeling about it, you are well within your right to have a feeling for mourning a relationship which is cut, which will never, no matter what, ever be resolved. So if you have a feeling
Truly.
about it, or if you don't have a feeling about it, however it is that you choose to feel is okay. But I want you to know that mourning doesn't always come because you're feeling a personal loss with that person. You can mourn the idea of a thing. You can, so it's really it's up it's really it's you, it's your life, it's, you know what I mean, it's how things show up, and I just want you to honor whatever comes up, whether it's nothing or whether it's something. Be okay with either.
Yes, ma'am.
You know what I mean? And so,
Understandable.
yeah, so cuz you know what, cuz sometimes what we do is we convince ourselves that we should feel a certain way, whether that way is sad or whether that way is happy. All I'm saying is feel how you feel and be okay with how it is that you feel. And if you choose to have another feeling, be okay with having that feeling as well. And just let the feeling go its course. Feel it. Don't have a judgment or feeling about that feeling, but feel the feeling and allow it to be what it is. You understand what I'm saying?
I do. Also, Tanya, I must also thank you for your exceptional work. Don't let the haters, nor the naysayers, nor anybody pull you down. I've been watching you for over a decade while you
Oh,
were living in your car. I
mm,
know I followed your story all the way back then. So I am uber, uber proud of you. So keep up the
thank
exceptional
you.
work.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Mr. Moore. And thank you for the
Thank you.
apple. Thank you.
Oh, no, it's the least that I can do, ma'am.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. Have a great rest of your day.
You do the same.
All right. All right, Miss Jones, everybody. Miss Jones called in to touch base, and so I appreciate that. I'm going to take probably one or two more phone calls, and then I'm going to jump out of here. You're on the air live with Tanya. What's your name?
Hello.
Yeah, hi.
Hello. My name is
Yes.
Andrea Jones.
Hey, Andrea, where you calling in from?
Florida.
All right, we have Andrea from Florida on the line. All right, so talk to us, Andrea.
Okay, I have called in before, but I, am kind of scared because of the way I talk. But I'm not going to let that deter me today.
Oh, you were the
Okay,
one
I
who
was
called in
listening
and you
to.
used to
I
say,
was.
you know a lot.
Hold on.
Uh-huh.
What is going on? Okay, I was listening to lots of people talk, and I can understand everything what people are saying, especially the last person concerning her father. I
Mm-hmm.
think I told you this before. My father didn't raise us. My mom did it all with 9 children.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But when he passed, I had that grief still.
Mm-hmm.
Even though he didn't take care of us, I knew who he was. And I, would see him every once in a while when I visit, Asbury Park in Neptune, New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there was that grief, even though he did nothing for us.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel whatever you feel, those are your feelings, and you have a right to feel what you feel. Who's to say the way you feel is wrong? And also, I was thinking about all the deaths because my mom died when I was 30. I had just turned 30, and she was 54. She died of a massive heart attack.
Mm-hmm.
And I moved here to Florida to be with my sister because after my mom's death, she moved here to Florida. I came to be a help to her. She wound up passing at 53, massive heart attack, in November.
Mm-hmm.
Then 2 years later, her daughter, 38, died of a massive heart attack.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's just so much, it's a whole lot. And
Mm-hmm.
you know my history because I told you before, and I'm raising my grands right now.
Yeah,
And
but
it's
you said you
hard,
took care of your father, right? You said you took care of him when he was
Mm-hmm.
on his deathbed. So you were
Yes, I
there
did.
in the
Mm-hmm. Well,
final moments of his life.
yeah. Well, what happened is my older brother was taking care of him. He had moved into his home to take care of him, and he wanted to visit his children in another state. So I came from Florida to be with him, to take care of him, and he was so nasty. I mean, nasty. And I had my granddaughter with me. And oh my God, I don't understand. He don't treat my brothers like that. But my sister who's left from my mom and me, he treat us like dogs and talk to us like dogs. I think it's a thing he had with women, and I don't
Mm-hmm.
understand why. But that's what was going on, and
Yeah.
I could never understand it. So
Yeah.
only way I can get him to act right is to tell him, hey, when my other brother get home, when you get home, I'm not going to call out his name, okay? Because I don't know who watch your show, and there might be some of my relatives listening.
Mm-hmm.
I said I'm going to let him know what's going on, and that will calm him down. I mean, I could never understand it. And I remember I told you I had a sister at age 16 who died. She died from
Yeah, his the
epileptic
daughter
seizures.
he
And he
loved.
treated her, yes, he treated her like a queen, like she was not part of the other children. And I could never understand that.
Mm-hmm.
So much had, what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And like right now, so you got to embrace, yourself, and you got to love yourself. Right here,
Mm-hmm.
I'm in Florida, alone, because I have no, well, I do have relatives here, not that
Mm-hmm.
many. My father's sister is here, his baby sister. And then I have, a couple of cousins. But as
Mm-hmm.
far as my brothers and sisters and my siblings, the one who I am close with, I don't have that here. So it's like I'm here alone. And now
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking care of my grandbabies.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm, you know, recovering from surgery. I just had surgery on the 13th.
Oh,
I'm,
okay.
what do you call it?
Well,
Total
speedy
shoulder
recovery.
replacement. I had went
Oh,
through 3 knee
so you're gonna be
replacements, and I'm
bankhead
not
bouncing in a
well.
moment, huh? You're gonna be giving it to
Huh?
them, huh? You gonna be
I'm,
out there
I'm gonna,
bankhead bouncing? Hmm?
I'm gonna
Hmm?
be the bionic woman. When they finish with me, I'll be the
Oh!
bionic woman. And so, it's a lot. It's a lot going on. And even with my grandbaby now, she has to go through two surgeries, and it's a lot on my plate
Yeah,
right now.
yeah, I bet.
But I can do it. And I have to realize. I had to realize first. I was talking to my older brother, and he was telling me. He said, "You know what your problem is?" He said, "You have always been a yes person, just like Ma." And he said, that have always been your problem. He said, you have to start learning how to tell people no. He said, no matter what they feel about you, no matter how they take it, learn how to tell people no. And that's what I've been doing. And since that, I mean, I've been coming along fine mentally. You know, I don't care what people think about me no more. Okay, because they didn't birth me. You know, they don't take care of me. Nobody gives me nothing. They don't take care of me, so I don't care what you think anymore. And that's the kind of attitude I have. I mean, I don't mistreat no one. I can't get along with you. I stay away from you because I don't like toxic situations. It has always been like that. I have always
Yeah,
been
you know
very
what?
quiet.
I wanna add this in here right here. I actually thought
Yes.
about your story not too long ago. Because I remember
hmm
your father was horrible to you, but in his dying days, you were there for him. Even though, even in his
hmm
dying days, he was still horrible to you. And
hmm
I thought about your situation because, like I said, you never know how you're going to feel about something or how you'll react to
Exactly.
something until it happens. And I had the opportunity to be of service to a person who was not the nicest to me, who brought a lot of
Mm.
turmoil into my life. And in those moments that I had the opportunity to be of service to this person, I realized that in those moments, you are making the choice for who it is that you choose to be. That
Exactly.
even though this person was XYZ, the type of person that I am is ABC. And
Right.
so I actually, once I lived through it, I realized that it's a lot different living through it than in practice, because in practice, you know, it's like, or in theory it's like F that person, blah blah blah. But
Mm.
and then also, even if a
No,
person chooses,
some people can do that, but I think it's the
and
type
if
of person,
right,
yeah, who
but
you are.
listen, even if the person chooses to be that person, because
Mm.
remember, one of the things that you deal with is being a yes person. So
Right.
when I was of service to this person, the person, whether or not they were appreciative or whatnot, it didn't matter to me, because there were people who were, you know, still connected to this person whom I do care about. So my
Exactly.
being of service to this person was also in service of the people that I do care very and love very much, right? However,
True
the
indeed. Yes.
person was not
I am.
abusive. If the person were abusive, then at that point, I would need to do what I need to do to protect myself from the abuse,
Right.
regardless of what's going on with them, because numero uno is Tanya
Is
TKO.
myself.
You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? And you will not abuse me. Well, someone wants to know whether or not your father had dementia, but he didn't, right? He was just an
No,
alcoholic
he
and he
did
was
not.
dying.
No, he wasn't an alcoholic. He was well aware what he wasn't drink. He didn't do drugs.
Oh,
He
oh,
didn't
okay.
smoke. He didn't drink. So he was well aware of what he was doing.
What was he
That's what I
dying
can
from then?
understand. He have always looked down upon women.
What
I
was it
don't
that he was
understand.
dying from? Was it
Like
a
he couldn't.
terminal? Can you
Mm-hmm.
hear me?
I didn't hear you.
Was it a terminal illness that he was dying from?
No, all of a sudden he was diagnosed with cancer, colon cancer.
Oh, okay.
All of
And
a
it just
sudden, and when he
okay.
finally got diagnosed, it took him out fast.
Okay, got you.
Yeah, it took
Yeah,
him out
so
fast.
let me ask you
So
this question. Let me ask you this question. First of all, tell us you Andrea, right?
yes.
All right. So Andrea, what was it that made you decide to stay in a situation in which you were being abused by your father in his time of need?
Okay, because the thing is, I knew he couldn't hurt me, physically. And his words was just backlash, of anger. He probably thought about what he did for us, which was nothing. And now, we have to do for him.
Mm-hmm.
And that time of need, I think, will make you feel very small.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he didn't have the upper hand. It was nothing he could do. That's the way I feel. But do like I told you to do. I mean, he was going upstairs. His bedroom is on the second floor. I'm just behind him, so he wouldn't fall. get from behind me. I know how to walk up the stairs. I said, well, Daddy, I said, I understand you know how to walk up the stairs, but I'm just going to be here to protect you in case you fall backwards. And he said nothing else. He went upstairs. So he know he had no more power. He didn't have the power to hurt me anymore with his words or anything. And if he got out of hand like I said with too many words, I would tell him what was going to go on, and he would calm down really fast.
What would you tell him it was going to go on? You was going to go get the belt or
Okay.
the flip flop?
No. I told him I will call my brother,
Oh, okay.
and he changed.
Gotcha.
It was like a different person, like a different persona came over him,
Gotcha.
like two personalities. But I think it's a thing. He's like I told you before. This is disrespect for women, and then you have a woman here who has to take care of you.
Gotcha.
So I guess he felt kind of small, in his last days. He couldn't do anything for himself.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Gotcha.
And the people who he did nothing for is in your house taking care of you. I mean, my brother, he did nothing for us, but my brother moved in his house and took care of him for almost 2 years. And the reason why I came up there, my brother asked, would you just watch him for 2 weeks while I go to another state to visit my children? Because my brother needed a break. Come on, we all need a break sometimes.
Well, you know what?
So yeah,
I'll tell you this right here,
mm-hmm.
right? I'll tell you this right
And I
here.
did want to see my other relatives, so that's why I came.
Listen,
So it would give me a chance to see my brothers and sisters and my family members up north. So that's why I went.
I hear you. Listen,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes the most loving thing that you can do for yourself is not to be abused, you know.
Exactly. Exactly.
Sometimes the thing that you need to tell yourself about yourself in a situation is that I know how to set boundaries and I will not allow or tolerate abuse and disrespect. And sometimes
Exactly. And that's what I'm doing
sometimes.
now, even
All
with my
right.
oldest child. Even with
All
my
right.
oldest child, I don't even allow him in my house. And I never thought I would be strong enough to do that, but I am. It's
Look,
not good for me. It's not good for the children. So you have to set boundaries.
I hear you. Listen, thank you, Andrea, for calling in and giving us
Okay.
the update.
Everyone, be
All right.
blessed and stay safe. And love your show, Tanya. Love your content.
Thank you.
And keep
Thank
up the
you.
good work.
All right. Thank you.
Bye bye.
All right. Andrea from Florida there. Thank you so much for your commentary. Listen, sometimes that's what you need to learn about yourself. Sometimes you need to learn that enough is enough, you know? And that person who, I ain't gonna say it out loud. I'm gonna keep it to myself. One last call we taking. One last. You're on the air live with Tanya. What is your name?
Greetings. This is Body calling from Central America.
Oh, you said this is whom? Body.
Body Culinary,
Oh,
like
Body
body and
Culinary.
food.
Okay, calling in from You're the one in Belize, right?
Yes, I'm in Belize.
All right. So
Originally from,
talk to.
but now I'm in Belize.
All right. So talk. You said originally from Brooklyn.
Yes, originally from Brooklyn, New York.
All right. Okay. So you took your Timberlands over to Belize.
Yeah, I kind of like flip flops. So I was ready to downsize, and it was feeling kind of like kind of nutsy there on the trains and everything for many years. So I was
Okay.
like, you know what? I don't have to live like this in the cold. I can really go explore and see how we are living and faring in other parts of the world.
I know that's
So
right.
yeah.
Listen, if you get
Mhm.
the chance to today, please go get yourself a jelly and drink the coconut water out of it for me, please.
I'm gonna go right over there in the yard and pull one.
You have a coconut tree inside your yard?
Yeah, my neighbor's got sugar cane. I've got a whole little garden. I got sweet potato greens, Scotch bonnet peppers, nopales,
You got
aloe,
any
um,
soursop?
soursop. There's some coming in the market right now. It's a little bit, but right now, what's seasonal right now is passion fruit and custard
Oh,
apple.
oh,
And
to hell with this. Where's
custard
my
apple and
where's
also
my
mango.
passport? Where's my passport? I gotta get my passport. Oh my goodness,
You know, the mamey fruit is like the sweet
girl.
potato tree, the mamey fruit.
The
So, but
what?
my favorite is the mango and avocado. So that's right around May, right around my birthday month. We have mango season. You eat until your stomach pops, and then avocado season follows it. And right now we have different varieties of pineapple, a lot of different varieties of pineapple.
Oh
And then
my
whenever I'm
Lord.
going in my yard.
Listen, you need to contact me privately because I need to get to I need a vacation. I need to be in Belize eating some fresh grown sweet potato and some drinking passion fruit and winding up
Listen,
to some Garifuna music.
what? Oh, you eat her dirt?
I don't know what
You
that
eat her
is.
dirt?
Oh, you talking
That's
about
like
the
what
flower?
there's certain dishes that are on all the different islands. We were all dropped off in different places, but that's
Yeah.
typical. Like the sweet and the green plantain is pounded like a fufu, right? And then usually somebody goes out and fish, bring some barracuda, another kind of fish. I'm vegan, but
Uh-huh.
you can make it vegetarian, or you can put some aside for you. You can have the fish. Somebody bring some fish in, and you make the fresh coconut milk, and then you squeeze it through, and then there's a variety of oregano. They call it Cuban oregano or Cuban mint here.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different variety with the allspice and pimento and some sea salt and
Oh, my
pepper. Cook
stomach
that
is
down with the coconut milk,
growling. Yes.
and that goes on top of the hadut. So all African, Caribbean places, we all have
Yeah,
the
but you
plantain.
know
That's
what?
ancestral food.
I didn't get over to Belize because I was right there in Livingston and I could see Belize from the water. But
Mhm.
the captain of the boat wanted to charge me 500 US to go over because they told him an American needs to go over. So why are they gonna tell him an American needs to go over to Belize? Because then he was like,
That's not
oh,
how you do it. You have to have your connects. If you talk like a tourist, you're gonna get charged
I know it wasn't
quadruple
even because you know
amount.
what I had some people there, and my peoples who were
Mm.
there was like, "Oh, we're gonna organize a boat for you." So they went to go find the captain, and then they were like, "Oh, this American girl, she needs to go over," and then he was like, "Oh yeah, tell her it's 500." And I'm like, come
Mm.
on. And then I was like, I can't do that. I can't do that. They must have thought I was some white
On
tourist or
on
something.
GP, you on GP, you on GP, you know better than that. You can't do. But if you hook me, let me know when you're ready to come down because I'm all about the garden. You can come spend some time in the garden, go to the waterfalls, see some monkeys and iguanas, and just chillax. I'm all about the garden, the hike, fitness. I'm a good simple life. I'm all about that good
What is
quality
COVID
simple.
like over there?
Well, these little small places don't have the capacity that the states have for what that's worth symbolically. So I would say the numbers have somewhat stabilized, but I'll just be, from my simple perspective, in general, across the board, people are not, well, some, maybe the minds are, but many people still are not focusing on their health. Like for right now, right, when we look at the reporting, in particular on Afro people, right, of the diaspora
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
African Americans, I've heard it in Chinese news or Asian news, the amounts we are disproportionately affected. We're having the most intense effects because of our diet and our lifestyle. So to be drinking Coca-Cola right now, to me, and I was a food junkie. I used to be a junk food junkie. I can't understand why you would be drinking Coca-Cola or
But
not,
then
because if you
also
are,
it's vitamin D as well. You know, you know what? Let's not start getting into all of that because
yeah, well, we got vitamin D here because
mhm.
we got plenty of sun. So that's a good thing. It's
Mhm.
plenty of coconut
Mhm.
water. If you're looking around, there's
Yes.
plenty of vegetables you can pick right in your yard. So that part
Because
is
you know
there, but it's
black
just our
people from what it
intake.
is that I read, black people did worse with the rona not because of diet and all that other stuff which did play a factor, but
But the
because
vitamin D.
we're lacking, we were taken from our motherland, we don't get the vitamin D that we need to keep our immune system boosted, and people who are lighter in complexion produce more vitamin D naturally because they could not absorb it through their skin because they didn't have the vitamin D receptors called melanin.
Right.
Listen
And
to
it's
what I'm
hold on, it's
saying.
sensitized to, they call it vitamin D, but it's actually sensitized to the skin. So even though we're melanated,
Exactly.
we need it more. We need more vitamin D. We actually need
Exactly.
more
That's what I'm
vitamin
saying.
D.
We need more because we were never meant to be away from our mother home. We were not meant to be in these winters out here. We were meant to absorb the sun through our skin because we are radiated antennas of divine. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
In a nutshell, it makes us shut down. The cold, I don't know, the cold kind of makes me like shut down. Like I find the cold kind of
Exactly.
painful. It's painful.
Exactly.
It's
And you
painful.
know
I
what?
sit there, the
And
smoky
I'll tell you this.
cancer.
I started supplementing with vitamin D. When I started
Mhm.
supplementing with vitamin D, because most people are vitamin D deficient and they don't even know it. When I started supplementing with vitamin D, my mood stabilized, my back pains went away.
Mm.
Everything started shifting on the inside because so many of our functions are dependent on vitamin D and we don't know. There's this Dr. Eric Berg on YouTube. He has an entire video on the different parts of our bodies affected by vitamin D. The thyroid is affected, um, your collagen, all of that, all so many different parts. I've been sending the video to different people, but it's since I started supplementing with it, and vitamin D is fat soluble. So you have to make sure
Yeah.
that you have that vitamin D that is in that is fat soluble. So yes,
Mm.
absolutely. Thank you. But
Yeah,
you
in
were
a
calling
nutshell,
for
it's a
something else.
plant.
I don't want to take up your call time because you're the last call. So you were calling in to say what?
Well, I was listening to the most recent two or three women speak, and I was just really feeling it in my chest. Just the reality, something my godmother said to me almost 30 something years ago, and it threw me for a loop. And I was like, why did she say that? Way ahead of the pack. She said to a bunch of young women that were around her, she said, a lot of you won't get married, you know. And I was thinking, I was freaked out. I was like, why would she say something like that? Like, I could not understand. It was almost like bust the Disney bubble. And today, we've been groomed really not to be in reality. And as I hear woman after woman, so many of us, women in general, but especially as Afro women of the diaspora, speak about, it's blatant now. Now we're still resistant of being in reality. Nobody's coming to save us. We wait. No offense to anybody religious. I was raised religiously, but waiting on the Lord and not being proactive about our health or taking self-defense or looking at the reality that sometimes you can put all this effort. We may look at our children as security, to have children for security, and they may go off and live their own lives. So just to sit with, by the time we get clear, Tanya, sometimes we're in our 50s and our 60s, maybe divorced, maybe have made poor life decisions out of naivete or due to trauma. And it's really something. I find it's like paralyzed in fear, like and looping thoughts and not getting into action, or perhaps feeling like our lives are over, right? So we won't travel. We're waiting for somebody to do something with. It's like waiting for somebody to ask you to dance on a dance floor. And so many of us are just watching our lives pass by, and all we do is look at YouTube with some snacks. So
Girl.
I really feel for the woman. And the last woman that said something about, you asked the woman, why did you stay and take care of the man that abused you? And I feel like deeply in my chest, because that is part of family pattern in my family. And as a young girl, our children are watching, is trying to make sense of this. And I watched a family member take care of the person that like abused her, physically, sexually abused her. And I was like, what is that? And from what I have observed, in my simple opinion, one, we were groomed and we feel a sense of obligation from religion, and I think we also have made it a part of our identity. Like we've got cool points and brownie points with God to be a monitor. What is the word? A martyr. That we feel more cool and religious, and all we have is compliments and martyrdom. Meanwhile, we're upset because in reality, we want to be loved. We want to live life to the fullest. We didn't take those dance classes. We didn't go see those other countries. I asked this person, I said, what did you, I said, Mom, what did you want to do when you were little? What did you dream of? Did you want to dance? What did you ever want to be? And the only thing that they can remember as far as they got was their first job where they were independent, and they had to turn around and give their first money as 18, 19-year-old to their mother who had 9 children, to help her take care of all these other children, and then this father that mishandled her. And I think we feel guilty We feel guilty. We want to speak out loud about the resentment and anger. And I think that's inhuman. I think we wear like a badge of honor. I'm not angry. And we feel shame for being angry and being human. And no offense, that's utter bullshit. It's bullshit. And should these crazy nutcases blow this sucker up tomorrow, we would have laid down our human suit and not maximized our potential in this life. And I say, no. Is my life perfect here? No. But I have made a decision to travel and see different parts of the world, sometimes with $5 in my pocket, and have rich experiences now. Now. Not waiting to lose no weight, not waiting for no acne to clear up, not waiting for somebody to ask me to dance, purchasing the roller skates, going out by yourself. Live your life now. And and the other thing too is I've contemplated, I might not go back to go check on people who did not prioritize their life. We feel guilty to go back and take care of people. Do you know that caregivers, our lifespan goes down from taking care of other people? Our lifespan goes down. And I don't think it's fair that people don't put in investment, and it may sound selfish, but we're not used to a healthy sense of selfishness. We allow ourselves to be shamed out of it and unwittingly be shamed out of taking care of ourselves. We're not mules. We weren't born to be mules.
Listen.
We were not born mules. Wait.
Hold on. I got to get the applause for you because you spoke a word here today. Thank you. You're so right.
I'm not no mule. And you know what? Let somebody else handle it. Let somebody else do it. We think it's going to fall apart, then let it fall apart. Let the hip-hop community fall apart. Let the cults fall apart. Let all the black... Let it fall apart then, and maybe it needs to die. We keep kind of hold on to a bloodstained banner. We're walking around spiritually with body parts hanging off. Like sister said, I ain't got it. Sometimes we just say, I don't have it to give. And we feel so deeply shamed to say, maybe we can exhale and say, I don't have it. I don't have it. I can't go to the extra PTA meeting. I need to go soak in the tub. I need to lay on the floor.
Yes.
I
need to travel to Belize, girl. Drink some passion fruit, girl. That's what I need. I need some sun. I need some Caribbean. I need some music. I need some sauteed onions and peppers and vinegar and
wait,
spices.
Tanya, you're not gonna get the front lines marching. You're gonna go to Belize and have some stops instead of being on the front lines marching for Blackistan? What going?
You see me taking any pictures on any front lines? You better sit your ass down, girl. What you talking about? Girl, did you see me with any pictures with my fist in the air and myself looking haggard? Did you see me with no mask on out here or with a mask on risking my life? Girl, please. Did you see any photos like that of me on social media?
I got a bamboo straw for you. I got a bamboo straw sitting in a coconut for you. Okay.
Thank
you.
Gonna
blow this sucker up, you might as well live your life. If they're gonna blow it, get some roller skates and have some fun. Because just waiting on folks to treat you poorly, the people that are demonstrating what they're doing, what they're gonna do to you. So your best gamblers, you might as well gamble all your savings and everything on yourself.
Listen, girl, listen. I hear you. Though I have a tremendous amount of savings. I don't even know what to do with all the money I have.
Smart choices.
Listen, I think at this point I'm gonna have to start giving to charities and taking care of some people. I might have to adopt a child or two, But I don't know. I don't know.
Well, you know what, Tanya? I'm glad you said that because for all of them, that would have been me too had I not had at least one child. I would have been thinking like, wow, I would have been one of those people like, I want to have a baby. I want to have a baby. There are plenty of opportunities for us to get our mother on. We talk about men being narcissistic, but they need stable families. Perhaps it's also for women to think if we're producing all these narcissists, the fish rots from the head. We're not making good choices. If we're choosing people that have zero interest in being committed fathers, then that's something we also for us to look at too, so we can stop at the head, stop producing these narcissists out there because they're not getting the lap time, they're not getting the protection, they're not getting what they need, and they need also more than just mommy. So perhaps we need to look at just our choices because we just want them to love us. We want something so bad to love us, and we wind up dumping a lot of our needs onto these children because they're not coming out of a vacuum. If we're making poor choices in the parents and we're not setting up whatever the child version of a prenup to make sure that we are taking care of the children, and we're making poor choices, watching these music videos and taking our cues from hip hop world star and reality TV. It's not fairing if we don't start to think a little bit more long term. But there are plenty of opportunities to get your mother on. You're doing a form of mothering, even with your show. There's plenty of young women and even adult women that could use a reflective ear. You know, so stop giving each other bad advice as Black women and high fiving on it. Anyway, Tanya, I just wanted to give you a shout.
All right. Well, thank you so much for calling in. We appreciate the phone call. Thank you.
Look,
Thank you.
yeah, seriously, you know, give me a holler. Body Culinary on YouTube. Let me know when you're
Yeah,
ready to
but
come down to
why don't you
Bleach.
do this? Why don't you do this? Send me a message offline, dear. That's the proper way to do it.
What's your contact? How do I reach you?
You just go to TanyaTKO.com and click on contact. You've never been to my website, which means you never
No, I've
supported
only
the
admitted the
channel
second
then. That's
time
what
ever.
you're telling me. You never been to my website. You never, come on now. You never sent me a story. You never nothing.
No, child, I be in my garden manicure. You know how I be up at the crack of dawn in this here garden and with these rabbits and stuff like that. But I'm gonna check your website out.
Listen, support the content that supports you.
Okay. All right, Tanya. Well, you create a great day on purpose.
Yeah, you too. And save some of them passion fruits for your girl. All right?
Okay. All right.
All
Take
right.
care.
All right then. Bye. All right. So I feel that we had listen, I don't know who here on this channel don't know how to reach me. Come on. You know, never been to my website. You never sent me a story. You never sent me a message. Never nothing. Come on. Listen, you know one thing that I have learned over the years, because I see some of you with your comments or whatnot, you know, I have learned that even some people who have really fleshed out ideas about some things don't have fully fleshed out ideas about everything. You know what I mean? So I just allow what resonates to be like, okay, well, this person has mastery of this particular subject, but perhaps maybe not other subjects. So what I am going to do is check this last apple over here. Hey, hey, hey. All right. All right. So we got an apple in from Ron Easley, who sends $5. He didn't send a message with it. So Ron sent $5 to support the show. Thank you, Ron. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So if you send an apple after I'm off the air, then I'll just check it then. But I appreciate all of you for coming out. Go out there and love one another. Most importantly, what? Love yourself. And part of loving yourself is self-care. Taking the time to nourish yourself, to set proper boundaries, to live out loud. You know, it's like far too often we just put off for tomorrow what we could do today, even if it's not quote unquote perfect. You know, I've been wanting to do my cookbook for the past 3 years, and it's just never been a perfect time. So I think I'm just going to have to create it, because I can imagine that the night before, listen, the night before a woman goes into birth, or even the day of, when you start feeling them contractions clamp down on your ass, you have to ask yourself whether you're ready. But your body knows, ready or not, here I come. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I feel like when it comes to creating, I don't think any of us are ever really, really ready. We just have to continue moving forward regardless. All right. So on that note, I will see you all in the next video. Yeah, you know what the thing about it is, I could have been done this cookbook even if I would have just done 10 good recipes. So when I do this cookbook, I wanna do it in such a way that it's foolproof, because I know some of you are like, oh, is this a cup? Is this whatchamacallit, blah, blah, blah. So we're going to do it by weight. By weight. We're going to do the items by weight so that you get yourself a kitchen scale, and we just do it by weight. That way the recipes are perfect each and every time. And it's going to be a cookbook that focuses on eating more vegetables. It's going to be just eating more vegetables. It's like, you don't have to be a vegan. You don't even have to be vegetarian. All you have to do is eat more veggies. That's it. Eat more veggies. Eat veggies at any opportunity that you get. Like you see, even me, I'm drinking my water, and there's blueberries down at the bottom of my water. Some blueberries and some squeezed up lemon. And it makes for a fantastic infused drink. So it's like, find different ways to bring the loving, nourishing nutrients of fruits and veggies into your life. It makes a tremendous difference. All right. Sepang is here late. Sepang, you should have already been on the text notification squad. You should have already been, so you're never late. There are other people in South Africa who are getting their texts. You know what? My videos have become really popular with people in South Africa. And so I think people are sharing videos with people that they know. So there's like little pockets around the globe. So I looked at my analytics, and my base is growing in South Africa. First, it started out with 1 or 2 people. First, it was just Sepang and Tabi Sang. And then it just started growing, so that now I see people coming in and they're like, South Africa in the house. You know what I mean? So yes, so we are definitely worldwide in this piece, right? All right. Delilah loves juicing and blending. That's wonderful. Just find a way to just get it in. Find a way to incorporate flax or chia into your diet. Find a way to get some nuts and seeds. And there's some other things that I'm looking into as well. So so we shall talk about that. All right. Thank you all so very much for coming out. Go out there and love one another. But most importantly, love yourself. And part of loving yourself is, what's the self-love lesson? We gave the self-love lesson already. You know what? Listen, part of the self-love lesson is part of the self-love lesson from today. Go ahead, put up your SLL. Come on. Part of the self-love lesson is part of the self-love lesson is self-care. We said that already. Part of the self-love lesson is practicing self-care, setting those healthy boundaries. Oh, it goes by so fast. I got to get a longer version of the song up here, because I think this one is just 1 minute, 20 seconds. So part of the self-love lesson is taking care of yourself. Oh, who remembers the Roger Rabbit? Literally. Come on, let me see if I can get this in. My Roger Rabbit. Come on. Hold on. Here we go. All right. Oh, there's an apple that came in right before we got off of here. Let's see if we can refresh in enough time. All right. Here we got a few apples. Well, she sends 2 pounds. And she says, thank you for doing what you do. And God bless. All right. Thank you all so much. I will see you all in the next video. I want to do a show soon. I wanted to do a show today, but emotionally, I just wasn't even in that space. But I definitely want to break down the relationship aspect of that Fresh and Fit video. And then we shall go from there. Tanya TKO, and I am out. Peace.